if you don't have that pressure to, question everything, if you don't have that pressure to change your way of thinking, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy for you.
Exactly.
Something, amiss.
Yeah.
Is our universe real?
It's just ideas. Just ideas. Now. You are tuned in to the Cosmidelic download. You are all, everything is divine. Yeah. There's no
With your host,
poetry legend, philosopher,
Marc Marcel.
Ready to get going?
Let's do it.
All right. We are plugged in.
Yes, sir.
To the Cosmidelic download. And I've been looking forward to this for a while. And I say this because I usually have guests that are very, that's the thing. I was going to say that we are aligned. We're aligned in so many ways. It's just, we're trying to get to the same place.
We're all trying to get this.
All trying to get to the same place. But I know this is going to be interesting because there are slight, I won't say disagreements.
Variances.
Yeah. It's just different ways of like seeing things to where we're going. Yeah. But my guest today is Shanto, and he is world renowned, I would say, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the way I think and how good he is, DJ.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you have put a smile on my face. You put a smile on my face, just seeing the smile on your face. You have very energetic energy, man. Yeah.
That's what I exude to be.
Yeah. But you're doing it, man, for real. I mean, the first time I was in your presence, I was just like, oh man, this dude, it's an aura.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm glad you made it up here. Yeah, for real.
Thank you,
dude. So tell the audience, tell people, I know a little bit, but tell people like where you're from and how you got here to LA. Like, kind of like what got you here?
Well, what got me here? Well, first of all, I come from a very interesting background. I'm an Armenian, and my family, my great-grandparents went through the genocide, and that genocide led them to be ousted out of what used to be Western Armenia, which is now Eastern Turkey. And my grandmother and her mom were forced to walk through the Syrian desert by the Ottoman Empire while everyone around them perished. The men were killed on the spot, whether they were hung or just shot or whatever.
Your grandmother watching all this?
My great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
And this is in 1915. And she ended up with her mom through the desert, being marched through without water or any kind of shelter or anything. And she was forced to make a decision when a colonel from the Syrian ruling family, who was actually an heir to one of the thrones, from the Al-Azm family. They have museums now.
Right.
It's no longer a ruling family. Obviously, Syria is an absolute mess.
Right.
And she was forced to marry him and give up her Christianity to live. She watched her mom not die, but left her behind.
Right.
And she was forced to marry him and had 3 children. And when she had the strength and the courage, she decided to escape that life and move to Cyprus. And on the other end was my father's side, which escaped the genocide and went to Syria and lived in a small town where I think a lot of Armenians were living. And that was my father's side of the family. They were told before the genocide happened, like, get out of this country, get out of this part of the world, or else you're going to be genocided. So my father was born in Syria. My mom, in the end, was born in Cyprus, in Nicosia, which is kind of right in the same area, Mediterranean. And then my father's family moved to Lebanon, and my parents met in Lebanon.
Okay.
My mother's sister was married to one of my father's best friends, and so they got to know each other. They met each other, and they fell in love, and they created a family in well, they created, they got married in Lebanon,
Right.
and then they created a family. And my mom was like, well, I don't know if I want to have my kids in Lebanon. And my mom was already a nurse in London.
Right.
So when my mom became 18, which is very untraditional of an Armenian, especially back in the 60s,
Right.
she left home because she didn't like her home life. And she was kind of this feminist thing. And she said, well, I'm going to go to London. I'm going to find myself my own path. And, she was like, oh, the big city, London, all the opportunities London gave her. And
Right.
she became a nurse. And, she had her citizenship and everything. And she was like, I'm not going to have my kids in Lebanon because there was strife, and Lebanon's a civil war type of thing. It's not necessarily a religious thing.
Yeah.
It was a civil war, the rich versus the poor.
Yeah.
And, everybody else get caught in the middle of it. And it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And so they had me, and then we came back to Lebanon, and I was a little child. And then the first war came in 1976, and we got caught in the middle of it. So my parents were like, let's get the fuck out of here. So we got on a barge in the middle of the night,
Right.
a barge full of like 300-400 people.
In 1976.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a tent.
Right.
And
Do you remember anything?
remember.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
I remember this because we were in this tent,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember there was a hole in the tent.
Wow.
And I put my finger in that hole,
Wow.
and I saw the Mediterranean in its darkest. And I was like, wow, what the? But, when you're 4 years old, you're not really thinking about the dangers as much.
Right.
It's, your mind is still, it hasn't been manipulated, right? So you're still this young person who thinks you can survive anything.
Yeah.
You have the shelter of your parents.
Yeah.
So
You think your parents will protect you from
Exactly.
anything,
Exactly.
and that they can.
Yes.
No, they got limitations too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you're born with that, I feel confident that this is what life is. I have very strong parents, and we went back to Cyprus, and my mom was pregnant with my brother.
Right.
So my little brother, and she was like, well, we got to go back to London because we're going to have your brother. So my mom was like, I'm going to have both my kids in London. They're both going to have British passports.
Right.
And she was like, thinking years ahead, right? Decades ahead. And then, but she didn't want to live in London. Because it's cold.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we still had, family, and my dad had a lot of ties in Lebanon. So we moved back to Lebanon
Right.
when the war stopped. So I think I was like 6 years old, we moved back.
Yeah.
And in between there, we lived in Cyprus as well because we still had family there and all that good stuff. So we moved back to Lebanon in 1979 or 1980, the war broke out again. So I went to, my first school was in Lebanon was a French school called Collège La Pléiade. So by the time I was 4 years old, 5 years old, I already knew 5 languages.
Wow.
Between English,
Hold on. It's English, Armenian,
French,
Arabic.
and I was forced. I always say this. I was forced to learn Greek because my mom, Cyprus is a Greek island.
Right.
So I was like on overload already, right? But I was, and I used to write in Arabic too.
Wow.
So,
Are you fluent in all of them now?
no. So I came to America and I forgot all of it.
Really?
Well, no, I still know my Armenian very well.
Okay.
Obviously, I know my English.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, no English.
But I picked up some Spanish here.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
All right. But you don't forget the languages. You still hold on to the phrases and,
Right.
the cuss words.
Right.
The Arabic cuss words are awesome.
Right.
So you still hold on to those. And the French, it's kind
I
of...
learned some Arabic cuss words. I really did.
Yeah, right? They're very beautiful. They're like as if you're like giving someone a compliment. So you come to America, obviously I was 9 years old, 8 years old, and you kind of just forget because you're not practicing anymore. Right. But the Armenian, I was going to school, I went to Armenian school here in the Valley, in San Fernando Valley. And so, I always kept up with what was important to me. And what was, as an Armenian, it was important for me to know, obviously, and my parents, it was important for us, for our culture, and and our culture is very Christian based.
Right.
And that's what the whole genocide's about.
That's actually what I was going to get into. Yeah. So Armenians, they're mostly Christian based.
99%.
Really? Okay.
Very rare. I've never met an Armenian that's not Christian.
Really? Okay.
And we were the first nation or culture or people to embrace Christianity in 300 AD.
Right.
So for us, it's it's deep in our roots. It's deep in our DNA. Right. So, you're born an Armenian, you're basically born a Christian, so you kind of go with those things. So when I was growing up, in Cyprus, when I went to school in Cyprus, we had Armenian school, but there was like 3 kids in each class. It was very small. And, the church is basically part of the school. Right. So, I was very involved. And I had a Bible, and it was very colorful, and I used to read through it, and I was like, and I used to sing, and my mom would go, "Stop singing, hymns and chants in the bathroom while you're in the bathroom." I would just sit there on the toilet and read the Bible. But it was such a colorful book. Right. It was, I can barely read the book, but I was just like the colors and just the stories. I was very enamored by it. Right. So you got to imagine how I was raised, right? And my parents are very like non-secular. Like, they were not very religious at all. Okay. They just let me do my thing. Right. They were like, you want to learn the Bible? Let's, there's some good lessons in there. Right. They were never ones to push that kind of stuff on me. They weren't very religious people at all. Right. My dad, definitely not. My dad was like, he was a very chill guy. Right. And very liberated in a sense that he didn't fall in that path. Right. Yeah. Even though I did have an aunt, his one of his sisters, my dad had 5 older sisters, and my dad was like the youngest one, so he was very grown up in a very sheltered upbringing. So the sisters did everything for him. Right. So my dad grew up really not having to do anything. Right. Just my dad was he grew up, and he was when he was old enough, he bought a car, and he became a race car driver. Right. Wow. So my dad was a very well known rally race car driver in Lebanon. Right. He had like 30 trophies, and as a kid I grew up, I'm like, my dad's a race car driver. I would wear his helmet, and he was sponsored by Alfa Romeo, and he had all these things. So my dad was like a well known person in Lebanon. So he was a very social person. Very social person. And so he was the guy I looked up to. Yeah. But then you realize you want to be like your dad, but you shouldn't want to be like it. You want to take the good things your dad gave you, right. But you want to be your own person, because people expect, he's that guy's son, so we expect him to be like that guy, which is something a lot of families or a lot of people do that, and it's wrong. That expectation. My dad was a very unique human being. We came to this country after the second time the Civil War started in 1980. My mom and dad were like, "That's it, we're done with this country." And so it took us a few years, like a year or two. My dad had already come to America and said, "I think this is where we're going to live. This is our safe haven in a sense," right? So and back then it was the American dream. Everybody wanted to come to America. So a whole slew of Armenians, and I'm sure Lebanese, came to America in the early 80s. And that was like one of those migratory kind of things, right? Just get out of that country, safety, come to a country where there isn't that, that going on. And there's an opportunity for people to make money and feel secure and, create something for themselves, where there was no, you can't practice this religion and you can't do this and be that. America's a lot more liberated than obviously people think or are given that idea. I think it's trying to change with that. So that's why I always like to say it's a perspective. We're all born in a different world, and what creates that perspective for us is what our past created. Exactly. We're all a product of our experiences. Exactly. So we came to this country with nothing. Right. Like my dad borrowed $5,000 from one of his good friends who had money, luckily, and said, we got a 2-bedroom apartment or 3-bedroom apartment, whatever it was, on Reseda and Hatteras. You remember this? Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I remember a lot of my childhood. I remember a lot, even when I was 3 years old, 2 years old. I remember a lot that I did. Wow. And and when I think about it now, that I remember, I'm like, there's got to be something unique, because a lot of people don't remember, and I don't know how I remember. Is it because of all the occurrences that were so powerful in my life that ingrained those memories in my head, or is it because I'm just like a soul that's come back to this planet to I guess go through this process one time. And I'm an Aquarian. Right. Okay. All right. When? What month? January, February? February 1st. Oh, okay. I'm the 17th. Oh, wait. So you're at the cusp. I'm at the cusp.
Yeah.
February 17th?
February
So
17th.
that's like the last day.
Yeah, well, I think the last day is the 19th.
19th.
I think. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm the beginning of the
Fellow
class.
Aquarians.
Yeah. I knew I liked you, family.
Right? When two Aquarians get together, create magic.
Yeah, for real.
And I was born in 72, right in the middle of the age of Aquarius.
Right.
And I always found that to be a proud thing because my dad was an Aquarian too.
Yeah.
So my dad was born in January 28th, and I was supposed to be born on my dad's birthday.
Oh, wow.
I came out late. And, and my mom was, in the 70s, life was a little different. So my mom was, smoker.
Wow.
And my father's sisters were like, well, I don't know if you're pregnant, because my mom is like rail thin and she's a very fit person, and she didn't really show, and this baby's late.
Right.
And so she drank a little bit, and next thing you know, she's in the hospital, and here comes me.
Yeah.
So where was I going? Oh yeah, so we're here in this country, and I always thought, being an Aquarian, it's pretty cool, age of Aquarius, but I never put any thought behind what the age of Aquarius was. I just thought it was a hippie movement.
Right.
I just thought a bunch of hippies are just like out there, Hare Krishnas and all the good stuff,
Right.
peace and love and whatever, and but I'm born in a more conservative family,
Right.
Not conservative in a sense where we're like this religious conservative, more family based. The family is an important part of our structure and our lives.
Right.
So being born in that, so I kind of followed that. So in my first few years of my life, I was like, into the whole, be part of the church, and there was not much to do anyway.
Right.
So be part of the church, sing the songs and be part of the processions and all that stuff. And then as you grow older, you're like, I don't know about this religious.
Yeah. When did it hit you? Around what
I
age?
think when I became a teenager,
Okay.
I started questioning things.
Yeah.
You all obviously get drawn.
Yeah.
Getting at, LA, draws you like, oh, there's a lot of things to do. There's baseball. There's everything that can distract you.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say one thing. I was always enamored by Hollywood growing up, because when you're on the other side of the world,
and now look at
everyone's like, Hollywood.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in Hollywood.
Yeah, I know.
And I was always an actor.
Yeah.
I was always in the dramas and the plays in my schools. I was always the lead character.
Right.
And so I came to LA, and we were going down the escalator in LAX, and my mom always says, do you remember coming to this country? And you said, now I'm in Hollywood. Now all I need is to be discovered.
Right.
Imagine that as an 8 and almost 9-year-old. I'm saying this. I'm like, what? I said that? That's pretty wild.
Funny.
So you come to this world, and all of a sudden, I was like, maybe religion is just not my, and then I was like, maybe it's just, it's a control tool.
Right. Yeah.
So I come to this country, and
You began to think of it as a control tool then?
When I started, I don't want to say the word waking up, but when I started becoming more conscious about my what's going on, and I think what turned me off was the American, like the evangelists and stuff, and I was like, these people watching, the religious stuff going on in the mornings. I'm like, that's not how the Armenians do it. Yeah. We don't, the pastor doesn't get up and start yelling. What is this? Yeah. This is like, and then I realized there's a little control here going on here, right? Yeah. People having to give their money to, you want to donate because obviously
it's like this passive aggressiveness.
Control
thing.
Control thing.
Yeah, it's control thing. I act like they controlling, but in this passive aggressiveness, they are controlling.
Especially the evangelists. It's kind of a hardcore thing, to me at least.
Right.
To some people, it might be like, oh, this is my life, and and maybe for some people it works.
Right.
Hey, I am not one to judge. You do you, but for me, it wasn't for me.
Right.
But then as I got older, I was like, maybe I'm an atheist. And I would ask my mom, I'm like,
You know what?
this,
All of them.
I'm an atheist.
All right. Your mom said she was an atheist.
She goes, I don't believe in all this stuff. And I'm like, well, okay, that's interesting. Okay, maybe I'll follow that as well.
Right.
So here I am, becoming more of that.
Right.
And throughout my life, I'm always been a thinker. I maybe overthink, and then I realized maybe overthinking is not a good thing either. But being curious is a very it's an important thing, and you should not let anything get in the way of your life of being curious.
Right.
Because the world really holds so much
wonder.
Because if you just stick with one road, what would that look like?
Yeah. The world is for the curious.
Yeah, and it's full of stories, and it's full of information that you're not given if you just stuck to that one path.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to be an atheist too, and we're on this rock. RNA hit the rock, and water came, and they created billions of evolution. So I got into the whole evolution thing,
Right?
And science and this and that. So science is kind of anti-religion, right? So but that's its own religion in a sense.
Yeah. Everything is a religion.
Yeah, it's its own extremity.
Yeah.
I don't want to say extremity. I don't. It's its own. It's like its own contrast. Right. And then as I got older, I realized maybe there's something in the middle here.
Right.
And that's been my life ever since then.
Right, trying to find
and then as I got older, and then, I've, been through a lot, I think like anybody else has, you go through relationships, and you go through, disappointments in life.
Yeah.
Life doesn't go the way you think it is, and you have to start thinking again. Why did this happen to me? I thought this was going to happen to me.
Right.
I thought, in my 20s, I was going to meet the perfect woman. And I was going to have this perfect job being a stockbroker, because in the 80s, it was such a cool thing to be a stockbroker because all those guys were making money.
Right.
So I'm like, I want to go do something like this, but that never happened.
Yeah.
So, and then I got into, the family business, and which I'm still very much part of, and I basically run it now. And it's a very kind of like a structured thing, and structure is not my thing.
Right.
So here I am in a structured world,
right.
And the fire in me is not a structured person.
Right.
So here I am, it's kind of defeating myself in the middle. But I said, listen, I can't live this structured life because I won't be happy.
Yeah.
But if I live this life that, is unstructured,
right.
I'm also not going to, in the end, be happy because
right.
I'm going to be out of control.
Right. Yeah.
So I got to find this middle.
Everything is
and this is where I am in life now.
Right.
I'm in this middle, and and a lot of things have forced me to change and shift. But I'm in this middle where I think that it's something that I'm so happy that I'm here because I have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I've created this world where I'm a businessman, I'm a family man, and I could still have that fire in me and do whatever I want. I'm doing things that most people, like a lot of my friends are like, well, I've been married for 30 years now. Like, my kids are like 4 years old, bro. People with my same age, I had kids, my first daughter when I was 48. Right. So, I and my friends are like, well, my kid's graduating, and of course it all happened for a reason.
Right.
Because let's say I had kids when I was 20, 30 years old. It might not have been as good as my life I might not have been satisfied with myself.
Yeah,
so I might have had that midlife crisis where, you become in your 40s and 50s, and now you're like replacing what you missed out on with stupid things like material. Yeah. Because material is so low frequency,
no,
so low vibe, and I've been through that where I've had some money, and I've bought the cars that I wanted, and I've lived that life, and then you realize it's very shallow, and it's not giving you what you want, and and then that's when I learned how to become go back inside, and not through a religious way, but through more of a spiritual way.
Yeah.
And so when I found that, I started being more accepting of who I am.
Right.
And loving myself. I mean, I've always loved myself because I've always felt like, hey, I'm Shanto. I'm this guy that makes people, like people like to be around me. I have this energy about me. And my mom always said, you walk in a room and just the room lights up.
Right.
I feel your energy. Unlike, like my brother, who's an amazing human being, but, he's more, just calm. He doesn't have that,
Right.
So, he might walk in a room, you might not notice him, but, after a while you'll notice him because he's an incredible human being. But for me, it's like I walk in a room and it's just like,
Right.
and I think a lot of people don't like that too.
Right.
And I've realized that over the years too. So
Yeah.
like, hey, you got to calm down, bro.
Don't like that about you.
Yeah, don't like that about a lot of people
About
don't
other,
like.
about
They-
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
a lot of people-
it's yeah,
You learn
yeah,
over the
that's-
years that
yeah.
you can't be too much energy because some people are like,
Yeah.
hey,
You're gonna get
hey, bro, you're taking too much steam from us, like.
yeah. They think they're all that. Yeah, all that. So everything comes
And and my energy doesn't come from ego.
right.
It comes from
it's a place of just
love
being
and
of
being.
what you are. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
This is the fire.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a flame, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a spark. So I learned how to be more spiritual, and I think what really changed my life is obviously when I met my wife, because she was a yogi, a trained yogi, that she has 300 hours or 300 hours under her belt. And when she got that, I was like, I think I align with this as well. So I learned from her as well. Her being 20 years younger than me, I was like, you learn from everybody. Who
Right.
cares how old they are?
Right.
You can learn from a 5-year-old,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
80-year-old, obviously.
You must remain the student if you're going to be the teacher.
Student of life. So I became more of a ritualistic person, right?
Right.
More spiritual person. And I started going inside and trying to find answers within. After COVID, I think it changed a lot of people's lives. Right. Obviously, it was just like it slapped everybody across the head and go, like, the world's changing.
Right.
You either change with it or you remain.
Right.
As humans,
the whole world, I guess.
Yeah, right. And as humans, one of the most important things is that I've learned is you have to adapt.
Yeah.
You cannot remain the same.
Yeah.
If you're still doing the same thing you're doing 5-10 years ago, you have not evolved.
Yeah, and we're seeing that with AI.
Yeah,
For real.
right?
Yeah, you better get with the program.
Yeah.
For real.
You better, or else you're gonna be left behind.
Yeah, there are a lot of dinosaurs out here that don't know that they are in the Stone Age. With that meant, for real. You better get cooking for real. Yeah.
So I learned, and I cut off things. During COVID was pretty crazy because we're stuck at home.
Right.
So you're watching that TV and you're just like, the energy coming out of the TV is a constant.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
And there's riots and there's this. And
wow.
I hate this person. I hate that person. That's the TV's that's all it's feeding you.
It is. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I am done. I'm not gonna sit here and come home and get upset.
Oh yeah. Well, exactly.
Does it make a difference?
Carries in the energy in the house with your wife, family. Just
My wife and I are aligned.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
am I gonna carry any of that? Because
Yeah.
that's the outside world.
Yeah.
I'm choosing my story,
Right.
and I'm not gonna let the outside world. So I decided to cut the cable,
Right.
and I started getting into more of the spiritual stuff.
Right.
And when my daughter came to my world, I said, this is the most important thing to me from now on.
Right.
It's not anything else. Nothing else matters. My daughter's the most important thing to me.
Right.
So I said, what am I going to do to become the best version of myself? So my daughter, as she's growing up, she sees the best version of myself, not the guy who's annoyed by some stupid news or some, the dad who's out, until 7 a.m. I still do that once in a while, but it's far in between, right? So I don't want my daughter to see that, right? I want her to see that daddy has it together. So when she grows up, she has it together as well.
some stability.
Because the world it's a rough world out there.
Oh, it is.
And if you're not on top of it,
Yeah,
you might lose some stuff.
I might. Yeah, I know for real. I see a lot of people that I can see. I can see where. I mean, everything is different, but anyway, I see there are people that I know that I can tell that if their structured family life growing up was a little bit more sharper,
Yeah.
that they wouldn't have the mind frame that they have now. I can just see the trauma
Yeah.
just or the influences that are like, oh, that's the upbringing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the upbringing.
Trauma, by the way.
Of course,
There's
of
no
course.
perfect-
No.
We all have that PTSD.
You don't have it.
Whether it's bombs blowing up next to the building that you're living in,
Exactly.
and the sound of that,
Right.
or you come to this country and you see people getting shot in front of you, or at a party or whatever it is, or you go through a horrible breakup,
Exactly.
or just.
Or your teacher said something mean to you that moment.
Yeah.
I tell people, like, I think no matter what it is, there's going to be this designated box.
Yeah.
That we're going to have in our psyche called worry or trauma.
I think it's built in.
Yeah, I think it's built in.
Yeah.
And it's like you cannot override it. It is going to be there.
Is this the reptilian part of our brain?
I have no idea.
Because it's the fight or flight.
It's a fight or flight. But I'm saying, like, because you see billionaires who will lose $900 million but still have $100 million, but then get in such a depression that they want to jump out of a window.
Imagine that.
Right.
And there's
they got
people who are down to their last $10.
And they're homeless.
Fuck.
Right, exactly. So that lets me know that's all perspective.
Yeah.
But there's something else they worry about. But so that lets me know, like, it's never a one box thing where this always causes this.
Yeah.
It's like
everyone's got their own.
Everybody got their own, and it's like you will always have something there. And I realize this because my friend's friend is in the hospital. He's been in the hospital for 3 months, and he's trying to get his well-being back, a sense of himself. He's been bedridden, right? And he's telling me this. I'm like, damn. Like, I know if I were him, I wouldn't be worried about this little heartbreak or think this ruminating about this little heartbreak. Oh man, this person did this. Did this. I would be worried and thinking and consumed about, man, I gotta get my health safe. Ma, look at me. Like, what can I do? Am I gonna wake up tomorrow? Yeah. So that let me see is like, I would just, it's like this transfer, like this
energy,
this like just switch out, like, okay, I'm not worried about this heartbreak no more, but now I'm worried about like my health and stuff, right? So I'm like, no matter how good you have it, how bad you have it, it's always going to be like this little pocket, and I don't care how in tuned or aware or awakened. I want to get on that too. You don't like the word awake. I don't like, because there's certain words I'm like, you are. It's always going to be there, and I'm like, is that? I'm wondering if I guess it's purposeful. You know what I'm saying? In this grand scheme of things, but it's like I just noticed that no matter where you are across the board, there's always somebody complaining
about something
or worried about something, while someone else was on the last dime and like, man, what's that dude complaining about? He got all that shit in the world, but he can't help it because there's always this pocket in your head. Yeah, it's sensual. It's like
you're born with it.
You're born with it. Yeah.
I think this is the way that we're designed to keep us in control.
Maybe so, yeah.
I mean, it's
something
when you get into the whole esoteric, how we got here and how we were created. The Bible, the Genesis, and says, oh yeah, and one day man woke up, whatever, the whole Genesis thing. But was it planted in us to control us? Right. Because I honestly don't think there was. I think God is a bigger thing than the Bible says.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like I think the Bible, the God in the Bible, it may be a foreign entity, but it's not a God.
I agree.
They're not the source that created the universe.
I agree.
It's the people the aliens or whatever they are that created us.
Right.
But in order to create us, they can't have us be as strong as them, right?
Right.
So you have to give us something to keep us constantly worried, so we don't.
Yeah. So this will be interesting because because I mean, no, I totally like I actually I totally agree about the God in the Bible. In fact, I have a poem talking about it's like called My Own Religion, and in it I go into it. I'm about to start my own religion and yada, yada, yada. But how it ends is like I'm meeting God, but I'm meeting the God that the God of the Bible that people say. It was like I'm basically telling the God of the Bible, like, I believed in something so much different than you. And I was like, and I'll tell him, it's like, Because if this is their God, I'll stand before him and look him in his eyes and say, I'm sorry. I just spent my lifetime believing you were so much more.
Yeah.
It's like the God in the Bible is so little to the understanding of, I don't even call God God. I call it it.
Yeah.
Because calling it God defines it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this thing is undefinable.
Yeah. It is undefined.
Yeah.
I don't think we will ever even get to that point, will we?
Who knows?
Maybe
Who knows?
we leave this realm.
Who knows?
We go back our spirit self.
Yeah.
Back to source.
Yeah. But they say we're a drop in the water that returns to the ocean. Who knows? Yeah, that's what it. Yeah, but who knows? But yeah, go ahead.
Maybe another ocean.
Or maybe another ocean. Right. Greetings. I'm Marc Marcel, poet, philosopher, animator, and psychonaut. One of the questions I get asked most along my journey is about psychedelics and, some of the experiences that come with it, but really, what are some of the best preparations? So I wrote this free guidebook, How to Prepare to Meet God, which allows you to encounter 9 messengers, some of the most potent and important psychedelics known to man. Most of them I have encountered, some of them I have not, but I have done my due diligence and did the research to provide you with the best preparations possible. I invite you to dive deeper into the material. If you want to go further, you can get the full manual. The link is also provided in the guidebook. We live in a world where people are obsessed with avoiding death. But I wrote this book because I'm obsessed with finding the truth. I invite you to dive deeper. Keep breaking the illusion.
Where I think I was talking about being more ritualistic and spiritual, and everything forces you to do this, that. So after I had my daughter, I was like, so what do I do? Do I just carry on my life like this, chasing the DJ life?
Yeah.
Chasing. Obviously, you have to make money in this world. Otherwise, unfortunately, you're just going to fold.
Right. Right.
So, what's the most important thing to me?
Right.
So I said, I'll stop, being that person. And I realized that I didn't need a lot of things. And one of them was drinking.
Right.
Not that I don't drink, because I love a good wine.
Right.
I'm a hardcore wine lover, but I've come to a point where I can't even drink a wine because I just feel sick after I do it. Not sick like I want to throw up.
Right.
I just feel like it's
disappointed. It's in yourself.
The flavors are amazing.
Okay.
But it's what happens to you after that. It just like it
does something to your body.
Really? Once you really learn how to separate yourself from back then, 7-8 years ago, I used to maybe drop 5, 6, 7 drinks a night.
Right.
With no thought behind it, what it's doing to my liver or by my body or whatever, or my psyche or my emotions, and go to sleep, blacked out and waking up, what the hell happened the night before? But now I'm just like so in tune with myself that, even things like that I've cut out, and I've made my life into some ritualistic thing. I wake up and I just do ritualistic stuff. I have 2 teas a day. I have a green tea in the middle of the day, and I have a clove decaf in the evening, and it's all there because I know it's kind of part of my ritual. And whether it's doing amazing things to me or not, I know, but all the little things that I'm doing is making me feel much better physically and spiritually and mentally than what I was doing before I started this ritual.
Right.
So now I'm living my life as like a ritualistic person. And then I'm like, well, am I becoming more like a Christ figure? So who is Jesus Christ? I mean, one of the most talked about people in the world, right? Was he a real person?
Right.
Was he just a made up thing to control? Like, Jesus died for your sins. It's one of the things that one of those things I hate. Jesus died for your sins. I think that's one of the biggest control things there. I think Jesus was just a mystic who figured things out.
I do too.
And the reason why he's Jesus Christ, because he became a Christic person.
Right.
And a Christic person is a person who realizes that this is not all it's meant to be, and there's a lot more for you to figure out when we go inside.
Yeah.
So that's my journey now, is to go inside and
yeah.
figure out,
Yeah.
Figure out. I don't know if that you can ever figure out,
Right.
but at least come to peace, come to terms with who you are.
Right.
And so it forced me to stop drinking. So I stopped drinking. Yeah, I would still go out to a restaurant and have a nice red with steak. But it's no more at the house, even my wife, we both decided it's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
I sometimes go out, I don't drink at all. My friends are, you're not drinking anymore?
Right.
Like, I'm only doing drugs, bro.
Yeah.
Because the drugs that government tells you that are Schedule A and Schedule 1, those are actually probably the good things you should be doing.
I know, man. I know.
This thing is a depressant that's destroying your body.
I know.
And then there is other things that are opening your mind. And maybe that's what they don't want you to do, is open your mind. They don't want you to take MDMA so you can have this openness, your heart opens and you can have conversations and energy, or do mushrooms or smoke some weed.
Right. Dude, you're bringing up trauma. You have no idea. Now, I was dating this chick, man, that got upset at me for smoking marijuana. I was like, yo, dude, you drink like all the time. What are you talking about? She was like, yeah, but it's legal. I was like,
That's the problem.
Where are you? Yeah. Have you heard of prohibition? Yeah. One, do you know weed is mostly legal now in every state, but still that's irrelevant. And the chick is in science. I don't the chick is a chemist, yo. Yeah. So these little things. So you should know what alcohol does to you and what weed does. So it's but I know where that's coming from. It's coming from an emotional thing of wanting to just prove their point, so they use anything to prove their point. But anyway,
she's stuck in that matrix.
Yeah, she's stuck in that matrix. Yeah,
Cosmo is so weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even hang out with drug people anymore. All my friends are more of I am. You find your tribe, in a sense where your friends are kind of in the same level as you are. And whenever I do see my friends, and I see them drinking or and their bellies are growing, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're 10 years younger than me, and your belly's sticking out.
Dude, I know, right?
I've never necessarily had. I'm not saying I'm in shape at all. I have reasons for not to be.
You in shape, man, for real. I did. When you gave me that hug, I was like, oh man, I need to get back on the weights.
The funny thing is, I haven't worked out in 10 months.
Really?
I have a triple discectomy in my neck. I have this plate that goes between my C6 and C3,
right?
Because it was all crushed from an accident 20 years before. And I finally got surgery right a month before my daughter was born. I said, I better get the surgery now because my daughter's going to be born and I have to handle her. And it was getting to a point where every night, 5 o'clock, I'd have all this ice on me. And I was an absolute mess.
Right.
And the surgery, has made me into I have never recovered from the surgery.
Right.
Because my doctor said, after surgery, you can't pick up anything. You can't really go to the gym anymore.
Right.
I'm like, what? My whole life I've been going to the gym. Right. You're going to take this away from me? But I had no choice. But so when I do start feeling better and the pains go away, it's all nerve damage pain. Yeah. I start doing push-ups and I start, lifting weights. And then the ego kicks in. Ego goes, dude, Shanto, what are you doing? You're doing push-ups? Yeah. Come on, you got to get on that bench, bench a couple 100 pounds. And I'm like, oh my God, it feels great. But then it sets me back another 7-8 months and I go back for an epidural. Yeah, wow. So I'm in this cycle where I've been through 7 epidurals since that surgery in 2020. And it's going to be exactly 5 years from now. I've been through 7 epidurals. And this last bout, last year, I was like, oh man, I feel so good. I'm going to buy a bench for my backyard. I'm going to start working out. And my wife's like, you got to start getting back in shape. And I'm like, babe, I can only do so much. But then I look at my friends who are my age and they're like, dude, what do you do to yourself?
Dude.
Just because you're married doesn't mean you're buried.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do when you're 70, 80, 90 years old, if you get to that point,
Yeah.
you're just going to be a wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, here I am, a 50-year-old, 53-year-old with daughters. When I'm 70, they're going to be graduating from high school. I don't want to be decrepit.
Right.
So I had to shift my life. So, I became more of this conscious person about my body as well. What am I putting into is what I'm going to get out of it.
Damn, you about to make me go like take a walk. For real, you got no idea.
So what do I do now? I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and what is the first thing I do? I put on my shoes and I go for a 2-mile hike in my area. It's like nice hilly, just like this. I really get my juices going, and it starts my day so well. I drink my caffeine in the morning, and I do my intermittent fasting. I stop eating at 8, 9 o'clock, and I don't eat until noon, 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock. And that's what I
do intermittent fasting.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since I've been doing that, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
Because I was a big eater too.
Right.
I was always, my friends are like, oh, here's Shanto. He's gonna polish off 2 double or 4x4s. That's a joke that my friends had with me. I'd smoke weed, and I just like, if I could just polish off. But now I'm like, I don't even eat half of that. And I'm very conscious about everything that I'm putting in my body. So alcohol has been one of those things that, like I'll have a glass of wine here and there with a good steak, but it's not part of my life anymore. So I need to think about the future. I need to think about 10, 20, 30 years from now. Once you hit that 50, and that's when it happened. On my 50th birthday, I had it at members. And I had all my friends. I invited all my friends. I invited my friends from elementary school, all my friends that hang out with me now. I took over the whole, that room that you saw. We saw that one time I was DJing there. That used to be part of the thing, the club used to walk in. And I had taken over the whole room. And, I didn't drink that night. I told my wife, I'm going to go out. I'm not going to drink tonight. And she said, you really? I said, I'm just going to do drugs.
Do drugs.
Because I said, I'm going to turn over a leaf. And I'm going to make this into something that I do all the time. Right. And that's when I started, it was 3 years ago. Yeah. 3.5 years ago. And if I go out and drink, it's going to be very someone has to offer it, and it has to be something special. If they haven't bought it yet, I'm not going to take it. If they've bought it already, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say no. Obviously, you bought it. I'll sip on it for the rest of the night. But I don't get fucked up on it. It doesn't even feel good anymore.
No, I feel you.
Once you've ridden that out of your system.
I can see. I don't even like the taste of alcohol. It's like
then you realize.
You're gonna taste like it don't even taste good.
But wine, don't get me wrong, but good wine.
No. You know what's funny? That the older you get, when I was younger, that wouldn't be my device to get that, I guess, alcoholic buzz. Or whatever. But now, not that it is a device to get that alcoholic buzz, but now I appreciate the taste of wine. I'm like, okay, cool. This is nice.
So you also develop the taste.
Right.
As you get older, you're like, oh, well, there's French wine, there's Italian wine, and there's,
Right.
It's like, it's not like vodka.
Right.
It all tastes like vodka. It's basically, it tastes like rubbing alcohol.
It tastes like rubbing out.
What am I doing? Just take this.
Exactly.
Myself.
Exactly. It's crazy. So speaking of drugs. Okay. But not before that. I want to it's from when you said, awake. I don't even like that word. It's like, dude, I still feel that. There's certain words I like, awake, enlightenment. I'm like, what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is just information. And it's like, we come up with these pseudo-science terms. And I remember when the whole woke and awake shit happened. I was like, what the fuck is woke? What you mean you woke? What you mean you awake? Like people tell me they're awake. When you tell me you awake, I'm like, oh, you still asleep. It's like just this double negative in a way.
Being consciousness is probably a better thing, because you're actually going within to find that.
Right.
When you're just awake, what are you? Someone gave you some information, now you know something?
Exactly.
But until you find it, until you question things within yourself, it takes a long time.
It does, it does. That's the thing. People skip, man. There's levels to this, man. I tell them, people they'll have an experience, whether it's, I don't know, through psychedelics or meditation or whatever, or they get there and then all of a sudden, it's a surface they crack, and when you crack that surface, it is all it is all like, I don't know, like great, like Peachy King. It's like, oh, kumbaya, namaste, you know, like, oh, we're all one, all right. And by the time I was like, knowledge isn't meant to be pretty. Pretty is for beauty pageants.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Right? The deeper you go, it will crack that little like, oh, we're all like, no, like it'll crack it to where it'll really get in your head. Be like, oh shit. And if it hasn't, you ain't doing it right, for real. Yeah, exactly.
You know, they say like a diamond is formed under pressure.
Mm.
And if you don't have that pressure to, to question everything,
Mhm.
if you don't have that pressure to change your way of thinking, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly,
If it's
exactly.
easy for you,
Exactly.
something,
Yeah.
amiss.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so there's levels you can go with it. So before, I didn't really know how deep your use was with quote unquote drugs, which is funny that you say I laugh because
I started doing drugs until my 30s.
dude, me neither. Like, and just so people know, when we talk about drugs, we're talking about psychedelics,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
Just so people know, yeah.
I'm not talking about heroin. I've never
or meth. Yo, there are 3 drugs I would never. Right, dude. There are 3 drugs I will never do. I will never do heroin. I will never do crack, and I will never do meth.
No,
because
they're the
yes,
worst.
they're the worst. Yeah, because I don't think I'm better than someone.
Yeah.
To where I won't get hooked on something.
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
Right. And if I see these certain substances that are like 100% addictions, almost the first thing you do it, and I've seen people lose their morale to go do sexual favors on people just to get some money to do. I'm like, I don't need to touch that. I'm like, I don't need to touch
The
that.
drugs are making you do things that you shouldn't be doing.
That you wouldn't do. Right.
The drugs are opening your mind and making you a more, bringing out what's in here.
Right.
That's
the
beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
And the problem with alcohol is it suppresses that more than you think. It opens it up.
It does. Yeah. It makes you do the other.
That's why it's called a depressant.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why, I'm wholeheartedly in belief that our governments do not allow us to like do MDMA, let's say, or smoke weed, because they don't want you to be that person. They want you to be on your toes, angry,
right, all the time,
unsatisfied.
But then, what do you think about the changes then? Because in certain states, these are becoming legal, like marijuana and mushrooms.
Becomes legal.
Yeah.
I think it's great, but I always take those with a grain of salt, because the government's somehow going to get their freaking hands into it.
They are.
They're going to
get
they're going to regulate. They're going to make their money off of it, which I can't stand when they do that stuff. They already ruined the marijuana industry in this state.
I know.
Because, I had friends who were in the business. They're like, oh, it was great 10 years ago. Now I'm just trying to sell my shop.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep up with the taxes.
It's crazy, yeah.
And my clients are going back to the guy who's selling the weed in the corner, right? For a better price.
Right.
Regulations on that kind of stuff. It gets a little out of hand.
Yeah. Which honestly, man, truthfully, when you think about it, okay, so check how this could go. Okay. When they legalize it, most of the black market, when you go to your guy, they're like, damn, we took a hit. This is, now people want to go to the shops.
Yeah.
So now that they're fucking up the shops, which a lot of these people who own shops, man, we're in government, police, it's wild. The people that were arresting the crime are now making money off of it.
Yeah.
So the ironic thing is, if it continues going this way, who knows what happens with the future? But if the regulations on it are like putting all these shops out of business, to where it almost takes it back to what you said, to the man, to your deal, your guy. But now it did all that full circle for it to finally be legal.
Yeah.
In a sense. So it's like, if you know what I'm saying, it's almost like
it's like a double switch.
It's like the double switch. So it's
you came back, you went back.
Right. And but now it's legal. It's like, it's nothing wrong, but now we can't get arrested for it now for selling you this. So I mean, maybe it's a good thing eventually that it gets back there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I always say the pendulum swings.
It does swing, yeah.
It's physics. If there was one piece of science that I wholeheartedly believe in, it's not biology.
Right.
It's not chemistry. I think those are all perverted.
Right.
Is physics.
Right.
I think that pendulum swinging, it implies, and not implies, it it applies to everything in life.
Right.
It's not just physically, but emotionally, in every way, that physics, that's it's always,
So why do you say biology and science? Did you say science or science or
chemistry?
Chemistry. Okay. Why you say biology and chemistry is perverted?
I don't think they're
not. Why? What's the difference to you?
Because
all of it seems like math to me. It's like just
which is most
adding up,
which is what our universe is built off of.
Exactly.
Math, right?
Exactly.
I just feel like because biology, because you can distort things.
Okay.
You can withhold things.
Right.
I think physics is right there in front of you. There is no, there is no certain if there is a molecule that's missing, it becomes this. But how do I know?
Right. How does anybody know anything?
You're just making up things, maybe. I don't know. So what do we know about chemistry? And we've just been told there is 118 elements.
Right.
And, they all create something.
Yeah. That is the truth. It's funny. Like, I tell people, like, I follow science. But then again, I have to admit, it's not like I follow the science they tell me.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm up there, they tell me the science, and it's not like I'm up there, okay, I'll take this science and I'll go do the experience myself.
You have to take
I got to admit,
it's just like anything, right?
Yeah.
You have to take it and you have to create one of the most important things is critical thinking.
Yeah.
And critical thinking is something that's missing in our world, and I think by design. So every question that's given to you has to be scrutinized.
Right.
So if someone says, well, this is this, well, why?
Right.
If biology is telling me that, well, we evolved.
Right.
Well, is your theory of evolution, is it another control factor, just like religion?
Right.
Because it can be perverted in that sense, right? So I mean, I question that, especially after but realizing that maybe this Bible, because the religious people go, oh, God created us 7 days, Obviously, we're questioning that, right? That might be a flawed theory.
Right.
And then there's the evolutionists saying, oh, well, we came from the apes, and the apes, we became humans.
Right.
Over a certain amount of time. Is how much of that is true?
Right.
Because now that when you realize that the sun is emitting information onto this planet and changing things, it kind of takes away from the whole evolution thing in a sense where, oh, we're just naturally, this is how it is. I think the sun has codes in it. That's my belief, from what I've gathered, that the sun is emitting
from psychedelic experience, or just
by listening
analyze
other
listening.
people's perspectives. And the sun, it emits plasma and it emits UV rays, and they tell you don't go out in the sun too much and this and that. But I think what's happening is the sun is a coding thing. It's a coding machine, not a machine, but an entity. And over the years, the sun determines what happens on this planet. But the way this planet was built, we have a moon. It protects us, which is maybe an artificial entity as well. I don't think the moon was there just because, God created the world and he gave us a moon.
You don't think the moon is a cracked off piece of Earth, supposedly what they say, and just started forming the way that it is?
I think so. Because I know there is a theory where Earth collided with another planet, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think we're under a microscope here on this planet.
Right.
And I think the moon was sent to protect this Earth from a outside influences, entities like meteors, asteroids, the sun itself.
Isn't it something like a magnet? Like if something is coming, like the moon,
it's very magnetic, right?
The moon diverts it or something, or it brings it to the moon.
The tide is all based on the moon.
I know the waves.
The woman's menstrual cycle, based on the moon. If you
28 days.
That's another controlling factor right there.
That is interesting.
If you take 28-day months and make it 13 months out of the year, a woman will have her period on the same day every month.
Yeah.
Instead of this whole, I'm late, like it keeps you on your toes. So now as a woman, you're worried, you have another worry.
Yeah.
So it's another control factor.
Yeah.
So why is our calendar 12 months and not 13 months?
Yeah.
These are things to think about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying I have an answer to everything.
No, I know.
But I'm questioning, why is it designed this way?
Supposedly, I think I read something, that at one point it was 13 months. But then I read something else where it was also 10 months. And you can look at the name of the calendars, like December represents 10, and November 9, and October
The numbers are there.
8. Right.
Dec, December.
Right.
Deca, November, Novembre.
Right.
Nov.
Right.
October, Octo.
Right. Exactly.
Like, how did we end up the 10th month being the 12th month?
Because they did add August and July in, because July and August are for Augustus or something, and July is for Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
There's something
So
that
this is
happened.
the Roman calendar.
Yeah, there's that. But with that said, that's how it supposedly got from 10 to 12. But I also did hear that at one point, even before then, it was operated on like a 12 calendar cycle. I could be spreading things that are untrue, not sure, but
many cultures,
right?
They have their own.
They used to go by the moon, so you're right. Like every culture did go by the moon.
Yeah,
they count the moon.
Before science came over.
Yeah.
How did our people survive?
Yeah.
They went with the moon and the sun.
Yeah.
That's why, there was a lot of cultures were, they looked up to the sun as their god.
Right.
But what is the sun anyway?
Right.
And what is the son of God?
Right.
Or the assimilations, like Jesus is the son of God, surrounded by 12 apostles, right? So the 12
months.
Is it the 12 months?
Is that what you think?
The sun. Is it the 12 apostles are the 12 signs in the universe, like Aquarius, Pisces, Gemini? Is it the astrological? Is it there's a lot of metaphorical things going on. I think the Bible holds a lot of those answers, but I think if you don't take it verbatim, and I think you translate it as a metaphorical, an allegorical, in an allegorical way, you realize that the Son of God, the Son, and you realize the 12 disciples, they might just be symbolisms.
Right. Man, this is good. Like, you got me really thinking. In fact, I'm going to ask the AI some of this stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's why I wanted to be here. I want us to get some answers.
I was going to do it, man, because you got me like astrology in the most. I'm like,
And I think astrology, and I used to be all against it. I was like, oh, what is this stupid shit? Like, astrology? Are you kidding me? Like when our 20s, we were like, oh my God, no, come on. It's all science. It's all science. The science is right.
Yeah.
Science tells us this, but then you realize, oh, wait, maybe the science is as perverted and as just like religion is.
Yeah. It's funny, man. I'm having such a good conversation with you that I just had a thought. I was like, dude, I don't even know if you're going to be able to get through everything with him to even get on the differences that y'all have, because I want to get into like the drugs, psychedelic use, and then I want to talk to the AI. But I'm like, yo, we didn't even really get to. We'll see what happens. So anyway, yeah. Oh, you okay? Cool. All right. Well, let's take it then. All right, cool. So look, I want to know. Because I didn't know your psychedelic use, and I don't know until you tell me. But when you cracked that door open, let me know. He's like, because I'm a seeker. I was like, oh, okay, he's okay. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right,
nice.
Yeah. So when did you first get into psychedelics? Or were you said in the 30s? Because I was the same way. The first I did mushrooms. I had tried it, but I didn't have any experience from it to where I could say, I didn't have, quote unquote, I hate the word of the term, but just for layman's terms, awakening feeling, right? DMT was the first psychedelics that I went
That's a
big boy. Yeah. I didn't like work my way up from mushrooms to LSD to this and then DMT. No, I went straight to DMT.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
that's one hell of an experience.
yeah. And I've done it quite a bit. I make my own DMT.
Really?
Yeah. I'm close to the double digits with how many how
That's
like
amazing.
But yeah. So I want to know like what's your uses? What's your psychedelic of choice? What has it taught you? Where did you come? Like, tell me how you came into that. Like,
well, I mean, it took a pretty powerful occurrence in my life for me to get into it.
Okay.
Right? A lot of things like that happen in people's lives, right?
Yeah.
You need to, really take a shot to the head and realize I need something else.
Yeah.
Because I want to break away from this old.
Yeah. Something has to break you. You have to be broken.
So when I got divorced when I was 33 years old.
Okay.
And 33 is a powerful number because it's supposedly when Jesus was killed, but we also have 33 vertebrae in our spine.
Yeah, and isn't that the master number?
And that's the master number, and it's also the highest degree of Freemason.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's all correlated.
Yeah.
That's why I don't fall for that religious dogma.
Yeah.
And the science dogma.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much that they hide from us.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to put those numbers together, and maybe I haven't figured it out. But this is the best part of it because it's made my journey so much more palatable.
Yeah.
And I'm not just like chasing dreams or chasing gigs or chasing this dopamine hits. Now I'm like trying to discover what are we? What is the whole purpose of all this? Right. So when at 33 and I always think, well, I'm not Jesus. So I'm not whatever. So when that happened, I was like, well, I can't be drinking myself out of this.
Right.
Destroy myself.
Wow.
So my friends were like, hey, why don't you start smoking some weed?
Right.
It might help you better.
Right.
And so I started smoking weed.
And
then next thing I know is like someone goes, hey, here's an MDMA. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is it. Because I was so anti-drug before. Right. The government tells you it's bad. People are jumping off buildings and this and that. And I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Going to.
I was the same way. I remember the first time I heard it, like some dude. I was in high school, 10th grade. This dude was like, "Hey, you want some acid, man?" I'm like, "I don't want no acid."
Right? Like, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be like that dude. Right?
Exactly. But yeah, so I figured I was like, well, go ahead.
So I started doing MDMA. I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Right.
What is this? This is incredible because now it's opening up these channels in my brain and in my heart that I had never tapped into before.
Wow.
And it changed me as a person. I mean, I'm still the core C person, but I think what it did is like, it gave me, Mario Brothers, like you get the mushroom and all of a sudden you're like this bigger Mario Brother.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think that's a kind of a symbolic game anyway. And because you're chasing those mushrooms.
Right.
What it did was like, it opened up my thought process to think outside the box.
Right.
That's the first thing it did.
Yeah.
Stop being trapped in this box where this is what you're going to be in life. You're going to be a businessman and you're going to, drinking is what you do. You don't do drugs. And you one day you'll, start a family and do this. But once I did that, I was like, holy mother moly, there is this other world out there. Not that there's this other world where I'm going to find a new island or a new piece of land. No. There's this other world of other way of thinking and other way of perceiving this world. So now I'm perceiving this world through a different vibe.
Right.
No more so much alcohol. Now it's more of like this other way. And I'm like, wow, this is where I want to be.
Right.
That alcohol wasn't really serving its purpose like I thought it was.
Right.
So but I was still drinking.
Right.
But then I added this to my thing, and then it opened me up as a different person.
Right.
The core was still there, but as far as who I was, it allowed me to express myself even better.
Right.
And I think that's one of the most important things that something like MDMA does.
Right.
It helps you express yourself, and that's why in the 60s and 50s when it first came out in San Francisco, because every time I do some kind of drug, right, I always do research. Why is this here?
Right.
How did it start? And it started in San Francisco because therapists were giving it to couples so they could have more open dialogue.
Wow.
That was how it started.
Right. Wow.
I was like, wow, okay, now I understand.
Right.
More open dialogue, because I was very kind of to myself, not introverted, but I wouldn't allow my emotions to get I wouldn't allow my emotions to get out. Right. And I would hold them in. Right. And I think that helped me really express myself. Right. And that's when I really began my journey, not just as what I thought I should be, but what I wanted to be.
Right.
Right. So, and then I was like, okay, you wanted to be a DJ?
Right.
Okay, here you go. This is your opportunity. This is what you wanted, right?
Right.
So I started taking up DJing.
Right. Wow.
33 years old.
Wow.
DJing came to my life at a very young age in the 80s.
Right.
My cousins were all into it. And, back then it was very new.
Right.
And, would go to my cousin's house and would scratch records and this and that. But then, you grow older, you got to get serious.
Right.
Can't get in, you can't let that get in the way of your serious life that you want to build, especially in an Armenian community.
Right.
People see you in a different light, right?
Right.
It's not very liberal. It's very conservative. And so I'm like, but this is not for me. So when that came into my life, I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my course of my life. Yeah. I'm going to go outside the box. I'm done being in this box. Yeah. And that's when my parents were like, oh my God, he's losing it. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not losing it. I'm actually finding myself. I'm finding myself.
Right. You got to lose yourself to find yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where the physics comes in. Because the pendulum swings where you're like at the most stressed and the most lost.
Yeah.
It's when you turn that corner and you find yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, when that started, I was like, well, now that this is what this is, now I'm going to start doing other things. And then, one by one, you do your mushroom and this and that.
Right.
You do your LSD and, to be honest with you, I'm not crazy about those other two. About MDMA. I'm not crazy about mushrooms unless I am on MDMA, because by itself, I feel like it really kind of just withdraws me. It brings me down. Not brings me down, but I become a little closed. But when I do it with like MDMA, the hippie flip, it's like a different world.
Yeah.
And then, you start, once you get into...
Have you Jedi tripped?
What's Jedi trip?
Jedi trip is mushrooms and LSD and I think MDMA all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know one's a hippie trip. And then there's, which one's the one where you do LSD and MDMA? It's a...
Yeah. What is that? I don't know.
Candy flip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the hippie flip, you got the candy flip, and then I guess the
Jedi trip.
I gotta try that.
Yeah. That's something else. Man. Like,
I bet. I'm sure I've done it actually at the Burning Man. I don't. Yeah. It's victory days. All of them have in my system. Especially when you go to Burning Man, you lose yourself.
I know, right? I know. It's so funny. When I went to Burning Man, I was like, I'm not gonna do any drugs, and for like a couple of days, I didn't. And then I realized, and then there was one day that I just let loose. And at the end of the day, I was counting how many different drugs I did. I was like, holy shit.
Holy shit is inside my body right
now. Yeah, I did a lot of different drugs.
That's the beauty of Burning Man, because it is that moment that you have that you...
Healing drugs.
Yeah, right? But it is a healing. The whole Burning Man should be a healing.
Yeah.
You just think, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to chase DJs and shows.
Yeah.
What you get out of Burning Man is a lesson every time you go. And every time I've been, I've learned a lesson.
Right.
And if you don't learn that lesson, or not, I don't want to... The word lesson might be a little too harsh.
Right.
But... I think that experience you get from there, you carry it with you.
Yeah, I feel that.
And you bring it back home as something that you want to, implement in your life.
Yeah.
Calm. And why am I getting angry in the rush hour?
Yeah.
You can't help it.
Yeah. I know. Dude, I know.
Take a deep breath.
It's so wild when people get upset over knowing that, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, what do you... it's really interesting.
Live in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't think about, I got to be somewhere.
No.
Look, you don't have to be anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're really fucked up and you're supposed to be somewhere, but you're just commuting.
Right.
Stop getting angry at everybody else. Everybody else has their own problems. Okay, so that lady in front of you just doesn't know how to drive.
Right.
Like whatever. Like it's out of your control.
Dude.
So when you learn to control yourself, and this is some of my, how I've become who I am, because I've made it a point to have that control over my emotions, over my thought process, to think, hey, if it's out of your control, you just gotta just breathe and not think of it as something that, it's not directed towards you. It's just you live with it, and you don't let it bother you. And now I don't get bothered. I honestly, it's like very rarely that I get bothered by the little things.
Yeah,
because I've already it purged that part of me.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But that DMT, man. I mean, let me tell you.
So let's get that's one of I want to get there. Like, so what's I'm guessing you've had some experiences with that.
Yeah, the last time I did was at Burning Man.
Burning Man.
And
Okay.
a friend of mine had this, just like what's it called?
The peace pipe, smoking
like
pipe.
the
Vape.
It was a vape.
Oh, so you did the vape DMT?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done it with
You've done it
with
right, but the last time you did,
But the last time I did, and my friend was like, "Oh," and I did. We're coming back from one of the sunrises, and we're coming into Indiana, and he hands it to me. He goes, "Dude, just take a hit." I'm like, and I'm like, "Holy fucking shit!" I'm like, "Dude," and I honestly think that because we've been told that us as humans, we only see a very a short part of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? The spectrum is millions of frequency hertz to very like 0.001, and we're here at that between 20 and 30,000 or whatever is it, 20 hertz to like 30,000 hertz, but we're literally at just a fraction of what we can see and feel. We're living in this realm that's very limited, and when you take that DMT, you see a lot. You see things that you're like, oh shit, that guy's back is literally squiddling in front of me. Like you're seeing colors that you never imagined. You're like, we're missing out on something.
Yeah. You hit it. You see colors that you never imagined. Colors that aren't here.
So imagine how
don't even know what the color.
Discover.
Right. And it's not even a color it's not like a different shade of blue.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole different color.
Yes.
That's just,
In textures.
Right.
Textures.
Right.
So it makes you, it really opens you up. And I think, what does it do? It opens up your pineal gland.
Right. Yeah.
Something that it's constantly being drowned out, and it's constantly being calcified because of what we eat and when put in our systems and what we consume, whether it's the news or getting stuck in traffic, all these things, or the foods, what are we consuming?
Right.
We are what we consume.
Right. We are what we eat. We are how we act. We are what we project. We are the mirror. We are everything. Everything we do to ourselves.
Exactly.
That's the craziest thing there, where you realize.
So that's why you have to go within, and you have to really work on yourself and realize that you are not in control of everything, but what you are in control of, you have to learn how to tap into that.
Yeah.
You can't just let the outside extremities get to you.
Yeah.
That's just if you're seeing that, not everybody is.
Yeah.
Some people are happy in their the NPC world.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I get it. I mean, truthfully, man, I tell people, this is the trip, though. As you know. So it's like when I see people, Alan Watts was basically saying, I also say this, is basically saying people who get so lost in the game, so like to where they forget who they are, like they're killing it. They're actually playing their game right. They say because the game is to get lost, to lose all sense of what you are, because you really can't eternally lose sense of yourself. So we're here to play this whatever wonderful
Yeah.
thing
Game
that
this universe.
game this universe, lose all sense of yourself, right? And like that's and he said people who are doing that, you're actually like you're killing it. You're just how you're playing
It's the
again.
structures.
Right.
If you're breaking down those structures that are built around you,
Right.
you see a different world.
You see a different world.
And I have this problem with my mom and I work together. I've been in the family business for forever. And when my father passed away, it was just my mom and I. And my mom and I, we always butt heads. She's a Leo, so she's always been my mirror. That's what at least the astrology says. She's always my answer, like the hardcore truth.
Yeah.
But what's happened is over the years, here I am discovering the outside of those layers that I've been shelled in. And so her and I, she doesn't see it that way. She's old school and she believes in science and she believes in, what was given to her. And even if I talk to her, even though now I think sometimes I do get in there somewhere, she refuses to believe anything that, she's like, oh, you're in this conspiratorial world, come back to Earth.
Right.
Like, no, I don't want to come back to Earth. I like where I'm going.
Right.
It's my journey, obviously.
Yeah.
If you want to remain the way you are, and I have said some bad things to her. I'm like, you want to be ignorant? I don't mean to say that to her. She's, how dare you speak to your mom like that? I'm like, I don't. I love you. I just wish you would just accept that this is not necessarily how it is.
Right. But you know what? This is the thing. People, ignorant is such a hard word.
Harsh word.
But when you understand what ignorant is, then it's not.
It just
means unaware of
energy.
Right.
Word is bring.
Right. Because I used to think ignorant meant stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Growing up, I was like, you're ignorant. I was like, oh, that means stupid.
Yeah.
But when I understood what ignorant was, I was like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you don't understand because you're dumb.
Exactly. You just haven't.
Been made aware of it.
You haven't allowed yourself to say, "Hey,
right.
I'm going to go outside this box."
Which there's a lot of things. First of all of us are ignorant to something.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's no way we can know everything.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, but that ignorant word has so much.
So powerful.
Yeah, it really is. Wow. Because I said that to someone like last month. I said it just like, oh no, well, you're just ignorant to it. And she was like, how can you say that to me? I was like, what? Like, you're saying I'm like, she said something like, I'm not dumb. I'm like, no, I know you're not dumb.
Yeah.
You're just ignorant to this. Say, well, how can you say? I was like, and I had to explain to her what I was just saying. I was like, look, we are all ignorant to something. Ignorant is not a bad word. Yeah. It's actually a neutral word. It's just describing exactly what something is.
Yeah.
You are unaware of this particular thing that we're talking about.
Other,
right.
way of
right.
being.
Yeah. But no, that's a hard word to to accept.
I feel bad, right? I've told her, I'm like, in the end, I love my mom.
Of course.
Yeah. We work together.
Yeah.
Different people. We're very different people.
Yeah.
She's old school, and I'm this new guy, the age. I don't know. I hate the word too. New age.
New
age people. I'm like, no. I think I just have in a different direction. I'm not a new age.
Right. Yo, all these pseudoscience words, it's funny. Yeah, I can't stand it. It's like, yo, this is just recycled information. There's nothing new age. It's like all y'all doing is just twisting something that has been already there and it's been twisted. It continues to be twisted. It's been twisted. It's going to be it's been twisted. It's just going to continue to keep on twisting. And that's actually the problem I have with the New Age movement. I feel like they're mimicking other religions.
Yeah.
This is just a new form of Christianity. And I was telling someone, I was like, really, like, I can see the New Age movement. I can see, like, in 500 years from now, Martin Luther King is going to be their Jesus, right? And it's funny, someone was telling me, well, no, Martin Luther King was Christian, so he can't be. I was like, yo, well, you know what? Jesus was a Jew. So what are you trying to say? They still formed a religion from him.
Yeah.
So it's just this whole,
right.
like, yeah, for real. Cosmidelic download.